ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restarts up we go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
All right, everyone, welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The sun has set on the desert pavement, and it's the final regular season race of the Invets Xfinity Series. The pressure is on, the stakes have never been higher, and for some drivers, this is their last chance to earn a ticket to the playoffs. With multiple spots still up for grabs, it's a desperate scramble for every position. Who will rise to the occasion under the Las Vegas lights, and who will come up short? The desert drama is about to unfold. Let's get ready for the drop of the green flag right here, right on Goat Locker Racing Invets Xfinity Series, right here on V-Speed, your #1 source of online racing coverage. And of course, tonight's race is being brought to you by Invets, helping vets in Indiana. Also brought to you by Lincoln Tech, putting your potential to work. And Save 22, fighting first responder and veteran suicide. I'm Ken Huber. I got Daniel Cunningham tonight alongside me, Eddie Smith on production, and of course, Dougie Beard on cameras as usual. And welcome back there, Daniel. Thanks for filling in this week for tonight's race.
Yeah, happy to be up here. This is, it's been a while since I've got a chance to call one of these Xfinity races, so appreciate y'all letting me come up here in the booth. And what a better opportunity. I mean, you can't ask for a better opportunity than the cutoff race for the playoffs, with that kicking off next week. Going to have a lot of drama. Got a really big field here this evening, so definitely looking forward to this one.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the track we're at. Welcome to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, and the magnificent Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's a true driver's track, a 1.5-mile D-shaped oval nestled in the desert, featuring 20 degrees of progressive banking in the turns. That steep banking allows for incredible multi-groove racing, giving the drivers an opportunity to search for grip from the white line at the bottom right up against the wall, creating a thrilling side-by-side action all race long. Fixed setups and the track surface presents a significant challenge, putting a premium on tire management and forcing drivers to constantly chase grip under the lights as the track's condition changes. So that's what we're going to be dealing with tonight. And of course, we got our race analysis here, Daniel. Of how many laps are we going to run here tonight?
We have got 100 laps on the docket here this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As you can see there, pit road speed 50 miles an hour. Got 4 sets of tires available. 2 green-white checker attempts. Hopefully we don't need them, but they are there if we do. Running fuel this evening, 100% iRacing fixed setups. And that fuel run should be right around 50 to 55 laps for these drivers. So definitely going to be at least a one-stop race, depending on how the cautions fall. These drivers might be trying to get some fresh rubbers on those cars before anything else.
Yeah, these guys have been pretty consistent this season. We had a little bit of a caution fest last week at Dover towards the end of that race, but all season long, these guys have been doing a great job here. I expect nothing less here. And of course, this is we're headed into the championship battle. Why don't we take a look at our point standings? And there it is. So we've got we're trying to get the top 12 drivers in there. You can see there that Stefan Davis is in that 12th position. However, he needs to race his way in because down below him, you got Frederick Seagraves sitting in that 16th spot. He has a race win, won the first race of the season at Talladega, so he is locked into this chase. So we're looking at the top 11 trying to make it.
Yeah, and even on top of that, if you're Tyler Rice there in that number 11 position, you don't feel safe here either. I mean, you've definitely got to try to race your way in, like you had mentioned with Stefan Davis. Any of those drivers that are below that cut line right now could win and end up moving it to where George Jewell ends up becoming the driver that is the last one in on points. So something that I wish iRacing gave us was live points as they run so that we could take a look at that during the race itself. But if you're one of those guys close to that number 10 position, you definitely got to be feeling a little bit of pressure here this evening.
Yeah, and guys like Tyler Rice and maybe Daniel Parks, they have to race and do what they've been doing all season long to be up to where they're at. If you start faltering and maybe trying to save a little bit, you find yourself in a hornet's nest and maybe have your night ruined for you. So, but it's going to be exciting here tonight. Looking forward to this last race before we go into the playoffs. 10 races in so far, so incredible season.
Yeah, really awesome stuff here in this series. And really one of the coolest things that I think with this series that I noticed even just loading in and watching practice this evening is just how many cars are still showing up at this point. A lot of leagues, you see that fall off as the playoffs get closer with participation. But just taking a look right now, we have got 36 drivers here this evening. And not all of them are going to be eligible for the playoffs by a win, just with the requirements for how many races you got to run. But still going to be out there trying to get the best finish that they can and trying to play spoiler in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And another interesting fact is we've had over 70 drivers actually start here in the Xfinity Series all season long. So much like the Monday Series and the ARCA Series where they had to split that series into two series, the Xfinity came very close to that. Been pretty much filling up the field every race all season long. Well, it looks like we're about to wrap up qualifying here and see who our lucky man is to grab the Jam Printing and Promotion Pole Award here. Let's see who we have. Looks like Joseph McHorter will grab the pole here at Las Vegas tonight. And there you go, the Jam Printing and Promotion. Joseph McHorter, of course, will get that tonight. Peyton Howell, last week's winner, will start on his outside. Mark Whitley will start on the inside in P3 with Wesley Burke on his outside in P4. In P5 will be Barrett Morton with Judson Curtis starting on his outside in the P6 position. Tyler Rice, and he's on that cutoff line in 11th position in points. He's hoping to hold on. Will start in 7th with Craig Bontrager, been strong all season, will start on his outside. Stefan Davis will start in 9th, and George Jewell will wrap out your top 10.
Starting in the 11th position here this evening is going to be Charles Abert with Duncan Fall rolling off in 12th. In 13th is going to be Jamie Lipke with Brandon Wallace outside in the 14th position. In 15th, we've got Kyle Deering with Devontae Drain in 16th. Starting in 17th is going to be Stefan Purcell with Frederick Seagraves in 18th. Rounding out the top 20 is going to be Kyle Steinbacher with Armando Melgosa starting in that 20th position.
Side in P21 will be Chuck Phelps. On his outside, another one of those guys hoping to make the cut. On the outside, currently looking in, starting in 22nd, will be Daniel Parks. Kevin Calkins will start in the 23rd position. Cody Turner on his outside in P24. Samuel Yosef will be on the inside in the 25th position with Kevin Price on his outside in 26. Brock Price will start in 27th with Dave Calbert in P28. Claire Sisk will start in the 29th position, Colton Sisk in 30th. Darren Price will start on the inside in 31st. Logan Sturgeon in 32nd. Justin Ackerman will start in 33rd. Wyatt Dooling, 34th. Noah Hogard will start in 35th, with Gary Wright wrapping out this 36-car field here tonight. Wow, that was a lot of names to go through there, Daniel. So we do have nearly a 43-car field here tonight again, and we're just getting ready to go into the playoffs. So the season's already half over, and we're still filling the seats here.
Yeah, really awesome to see. And you're right, that's quite a few drivers to get through there, but really awesome to see just the support that this series has with this Invets Xfinity series. These drivers are getting ready to take the green flag here. We've got, like we said earlier, 100 laps to decide the last drivers making it into the playoffs here for this season.
Yeah, so we're under the lights. The track is nice and cool. We're looking at a track temperature about 81 degrees. We did notice during qualifying and practice that the cars were a little loose, maybe a little aero loose on this track here tonight. We'll see if these guys can hold on to it, but they're going through the final couple of turns here. Lights are out atop the pace car. We're getting ready to go green flag racing here at Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. Waiting for that pace car to drop in. The nerves are tight right now. Last chance to get into the playoffs, and we are looking, hold it, and we are green. Joseph McWhorter leads them to the green flag. Oh, little loose there, getting on the start there. I don't know if he spun his tires. Peyton Powell on the outside trying to hold on.
And actually, it looked like Joseph McWhorter had a little bit of a connection issue there coming to the initial green on that race. Actually blinked out for just a second, but the connection seems to have stabilized, and he is now clear for the lead. But he's got that 0.5 of Peyton Howell, as you mentioned, looking to the inside right on his tire tracks, trying to slot in there. Back behind him, you can see there with this camera angle off of turn 4, these drivers are still battling for a lot of positions here as we are one lap into the race.
Yeah, Peyton Howell won the race last week at Dover. Very similar to what we're seeing how he ran there as what he's doing tonight. He's got Whitley behind him, but he was very strong last week. Kind of holding back in the top 5 all night long, and then showed that skill towards the last 20 or 30 laps of that race. We'll see what he does here tonight. It looks like he is maybe cooling those tires off, letting McWhorter run away, and McWhorter and Whitley being super fast all season long. He's going to watch and see what these guys are going to do.
Yeah, these first few drivers have single filed out, but back here you can see too, they thought about 3 wide for just a moment. 61 car of Duncan Fall there, currently in the number 6 position, already up 6 spots from where he started just 3 laps in. Looking to the inside of Stephen Davis, trying to complete that pass for the number 6 position, but already on the move here early for a driver that shows a lot of speed, seemingly pretty much every racetrack that we go to.
Absolutely. Duncan almost got that position cleared. There he does. Pulls up in front of him. That allows Bontrager now on the inside. See him, Bontrager's going to follow him through. So lost, not quite there. The 09 is coming back there. So you can see Stephen Davis there still fighting back on the outside as they go into 3. We'll see if Bontrager can clear him here. Got the 29 car now with Justin Curtis entering this picture.
Yeah, and what you're seeing right there is exactly why so many drivers enjoy this racetrack. There's just different lanes you can run. It does have a slight amount of progressive banking, not quite as much as what you would see at like a Kansas or a Homestead, but still does have just a little bit of progressive banking. As you can see here, Mark Whitley using that middle lane, using that little bit of extra banking, carrying the momentum. He's able to clear Howell for the number 2 position, try to set sights on McWhorter for the lead. Barrett Morton back behind that battle starting to close in, but taking another look back here at the Hornets' nest, you got Jamie Libke, Charles Abert up there leading this pack. Stephen Davis had actually dropped back a little bit. You see him there up on the top side in that 09 Miller Lite machine. He got big loose off of turn 4 a couple of laps ago, did a nice job hanging on to it, but has lost some track position as a result.
Yeah, it looks like Jamie Lipke did clear Charles Abert there, but it was 2x2, almost looked like a Talladega race back there. You got the 09 car now looking on the inside there. I was going to say Brandon Wallace. I know that's not him, but the 09 taking a peek on the inside of Abert there, couldn't quite get it done. And that, we're under caution. Looks like
Caution
the 44
is out. I believe Gary Wright and the 80 of Kevin Price may be both involved in that one. As you can see there, yeah, Kevin Price definitely involved as the hood of his car is completely missing at this point. Take a look here on the V-Speed instant replay. So Kevin Price here. Oh yeah, the 44 got loose and just right in front of the 80. 80 gets into him and off goes the hood for Kevin Price.
Yeah, we're riding along here with Kevin Price here, and you can see probably had nowhere to go. That car gets loose really quick in front of him. There you go. You can see him pop loose, just trying to find the gap where that car is going to slide. Couldn't find it. Significant damage on both those cars, but they do have one quick repair. As long as they can drive it back to pit lane, they shouldn't go a lap down, be able to get those cars fixed and get back out there.
Yeah, as you mentioned, one fast repair here for the drivers this evening, something that we did not touch on pre-race as far as our race analysis. So even though the damage was massive, not necessarily a night ender for those two drivers.
Well, we're going to wait and see. I don't know if we're going to have any pit takers just yet. We are only a few laps into this race. So looks like we're 8 laps into it. So I imagine everybody will stay out, or most everyone, at least our leaders. So while we got a moment here, I want to talk about one of our latest SIB rig recipients. I don't know why that's always so hard for me to say, but Mike Swardson's our 13th sim rig recipient and our very first responder. So want to give a shout out to Mike here. Mike is from Indiana and served in the United States Air Force for 4 years in the fire service. During his time, he deployed to Korea and Pakistan in support of our great nation. Once returning home, he decided to continue his career in the fire services. He had been a firefighter at the Indianapolis Airport Fire Department for the past 20 years. He was introduced to racing by his father and used to take Mike and his brother to Road America for IndyCar when they were young. Mike is now taking his family to races at Road America. Mike also enjoys IMSA racing and F1. We are proud to have him here as part of the Goat Locker family. So great job having you here, Mike. So it's also great that he is our first sim recipient rig that is a first responder. It's normally gone out to our veterans. So it's great to see our first responder get one of those.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that's something that's been big with Pat over here, wanting to get the first responders involved with that as well. So definitely cool to see that that he is the first responder for that. And I know that it's going to be a good thing for you too there, Ken, that he said that he's a fan of IMSA racing, because I know that you're the road course guy around here. So that's another cool little feature there too.
Yeah, we're looking at the onboards. Yeah, I'd love to have them in our road racing series, so that I'd look forward to that. But we're looking at our onboard cameras right now. We got George Jewell over there on the top left, and Chuck Pegleg Feltz up there as usual, showing those guns. And then Charles Abert over there with the sunglasses, one of our administrators, or I want to say race control guys occasionally. Daniel Parks down there in the lower half, and Wyatt Dooling down there. So kind of taking a break while we're under caution here.
Man, I don't think I could race with sunglasses on. That's
yeah, I don't know.
That's a next level move there for Charles Abert. As you can see, Chuck Feltz taking an opportunity here under caution to finish off his beverage there, we'll call it. Chuck probably starting to celebrate for Veterans Day coming up, so know that that's always a favorite of his.
Absolutely. Well, the lights are out atop the pace car. McWhorter's still leading this thing. His teammate's going to start on the outside. It looks like that'd be Mark Whitley. Peyton Howell will start on the inside in third. Barrett Morton in fourth. Duncan Faw and Craig Bontrager wrap out your top 6.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this restart plays out. We did have some drivers that came down pit lane and did decide to take advantage of that, but starting pretty far in the back on this restart. As you can see here, the pace car is off field in control of Joseph McWhorter as they hit that restart zone. Green flag back out in the air. A little bit cleaner restart here this time for the 72 compared to the initial start of the race. But that 0.5 is basically shoving him down into turn number 1, trying to clear through for the number 2 spot. Still glued to the back bumper of McWhorter through 1 and 2, trying to take a look to the inside now. Yeah,
he was sitting back easy in the first run. He's going hard now on the inside there. Followed him followed McWhorter, trying to gain that position, but now going to duck back in, and looks like Whitley's going to put some pressure there on the outside.
Yeah, Mark Whitley trying to retain that number 2 position where he started on that restart. You can see back behind them, though, the 61 of Duncan Fall. He's continuing his march to the front, now up to the 4th position, up 8 spots from where he started. Still one of the biggest movers of the race so far. A little bit further mid-pack that have moved further, but
51
caution
under
is
caution,
back
I think.
out on the track. See there, that is the 51, as you had mentioned, that got caught up in that one. That's Wyatt Dooling. He was another driver that was on the move. He was actually up about 11 or 12 spots from where he started before that incident. Oh, you can see there just a little bit of contact, little door bang there, getting into turn number 1. I believe that was with the 11 of Kevin Calkins.
He was pushing pretty hard there on that last corner there. Oh, yeah, and they get together right there. Goes down and sends him down to the inside. Does a great job trying to hang on to it, but gets back up on the track and just loses the rear end. But thankfully, nobody else got into him. Able to save that car from any major damage.
Yeah, and really did a good job of keeping it down on the apron, too, all things considered. I mean, when you go in with that speed at that angle, I mean, yeah, he does come back up the track there, but it's after most of the cars have cleared. So really nice job. As you said, he didn't get any damage out of that, didn't hit anything, lost all of his track position, going to have to work his way back up through the field yet again, but he was definitely on the move before that happened. So going to be another reset here for the 51 machine and try to work his way back up through the field again.
Well, I got to tell you that darkfusionsystem.com Toyota actually looks pretty sharp out there. I don't know if you noticed that. I was looking at that chromium finish on his number there, but I thought that was like a computer chip display or something like that. But I guess it's just another number underneath, but still a good looking paint job.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing a paint scheme of the night, but that one might be in contention for. That's a good looking scheme there.
Well, he's headed to pit lane, maybe get some fresh tires on that thing after skidding that thing out. Looks like Jamie Lipke just ahead of him is on pit lane too, as we got a couple drivers out on pit lane towards the back of the field. Some more takers for tires. See what they can do if they can run their way back up to the field. We still got about another lap and a half. And while we got another lap and a half, why don't we talk about our primary sponsor? And that would be Invets. Invets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They're the title sponsor of this series, and we are so grateful to have them on board. That's Invets. Well, we got a couple of early cautions here, Daniel, so it wasn't quite where I want it yet, but it's been, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast. The cars did appear a little loose, and it looks like that's what they're struggling with. Of course, a little bit of car contact on that last incident, but I think that's because the cars are a little free.
Yeah, and we've even seen it with some of these battles up near the front of the field, just fighting that loose on exit. But, personally as a driver, I would rather have that than have this thing driving like a snowplow out there. At least let you try to manipulate the car a little bit more, try to do some things to get the car to rotate and do what you want it to do. But be interesting to see now with another restart on these heat cycled tires, how these drivers up at the front will fare. You can also see Joseph McWhorter doing something a little bit different on this restart, electing to take the inside, or rather the outside here, with teammate Mark Whitley taking the inside on this restart. Leader does get lane choice for each of these. So he must have liked what he's seen out of that outside lane, just with the momentum you're able to carry through turns 1 and 2, that he thinks that's the better way to go here.
Yeah, that could be possible, but I also believe that he probably got on the radio, speaking of Mark Whitley, got on the radio with his teammate at McWhorter and said, hey, you see what Peyton did that last restart? I don't want that to happen again. Start on the outside. I'll cut you a break and let you in. I have a feeling that might be more the case, but it's hard to say, but we're about to turn them loose again. Let's not forget about Duncan Faw back there in that red and black 61 car. Super strong out here tonight. Looked really competitive, having a solid night. Light is out atop the pace car, like I said, and that thing is about to head in pit lane. Why don't you take us to the green flag there, Daniel?
Yeah, Field will once again be in control of Joseph McWhorter, that green and black machine on the outside lane as they hit the restart zone. He gets a really good launch up there on the top. And yeah, I think you might be right. Maybe a little bit of a teammate restart there between the 72 and the 77. They are now 1 and 2. But you can see that 05 of how they're looking to the inside. He's trying to break up the teammate party up there at the front. He's got a little bit of momentum, going to try to side draft just a little bit down the back straightaway. But I think that middle lane is going to prevail with Mark Whitley there, just able to carry a little bit more momentum through the turn.
Yeah, backed out of it. Now he's under threat from the two guys behind him there. You got Barrett Morton and Duncan Faw side by side. Just behind him there, you can see Duncan Faw on the inside, Barrett Morton on the outside. Duncan Faw trying to follow Powell through and try to clear that car, but no doing so far. Barrett Morton holding strong in that 9.
Yeah, meanwhile, up front, Mark Whitley says, I want to get control of this race. He is to the inside of his teammate, Joseph McWhorter, takes the lead from him. I have to think, looked like McWhorter maybe cut him a little bit of a break there at first, but now looking back to the inside, give that lap led to Mark Whitley, but Joseph McWhorter already looking back to the inside, trying to take it right back from him.
Yeah, these two guys are known they're teammates, but they drive each other pretty hard side by side. Pretty much a story all season long with these guys driving like that. It looks like Whitley's going to get the advantage right now. McWhorter will tuck in behind, but don't look now. Barrett Morton back there in third, just behind these guys, did clear Peyton Howell while that battle was going on. So Barrett Morton coming up into this picture as well.
Yeah, Barrett showing a lot of speed here early on in that 9 car, trying to get up there and fight for this lead as well. As you can see there from the onboard of the 9, taking a look at this battle that's still going on between the teammates up front. And, you know, teammates or not, sometimes the teammates are the ones you race a little bit harder because that's the one you really want to beat. Whether it's for first and second or 21st and 22nd, you're like, hey, I want to be the top dog on the team tonight. Doesn't matter what position we're in.
Yeah, they're clearing the lap car right now of Kevin Price, who was involved in that first incident of the race here. As a top 3 clear the lap car, setting sail. Barrett Morton just behind these two, looking for a faster line, but Merritt is pushing that 9 car pretty hard. Looks like Peyton Howell has fallen back just a little bit, but I've seen this before. He's got Duncan Faw just behind him as we got a side-by-side behind that group.
Yeah, just a lot of cars under a blanket here. You can see Tyler Rice involved in this battle in that 06. He's one of those that we talked about earlier that's on the cut line for these playoffs starting up. He's got to have a solid run tonight. So far, doing everything that he needs to do, keeping himself right there at the back half of the top 10 throughout this race so far. But here he's taking a look to the outside, trying to find a way around Judson Curtis. It looks like he's faster than a couple of these guys in front of him. I mean, he caught up to the 49 of Bontrager, the 29 of Curtis relatively quickly, but with them running side by side like that, just not really a whole lot of places for him to go right now.
Yeah, right on board with him right there. You see Bontrager up there on his right, and then he's got Curtis just ahead of him there on the inside and just nowhere to go. And I think once these guys get side by side like that, it does slow him down. Now he's alongside Bontrager trying to get that position taken away from Craig. And now that battle is back to side by side up front.
And they're also starting to close in on that 61 of Duncan Fall. Looks like he's struggling with the handling of his car just a little bit here. So all of these guys right under a blanket together, and you've mentioned it with Hal there as well, starting to fall back off of that lead trio just a little bit. So this battle for, we'll call it 4th on back, this is definitely starting to heat up between all of these drivers. Battle for the lead is still going on here as well, as these two are just still going at it between Mark Whitley and Joseph McWhorter.
Yeah, they were side by side while we were talking there that entire time, and it looks like it's going to happen again. Whitley now to the inside, try the undercut here, and all that while all that racing is going on with these two guys. You got Barrett Morton sitting back there just praying that the two teammates will get together and maybe he'll get this position for free, and hopefully not get collected. But you can see Whitley now gets that car a little bit loose, had to back out of it and fall in behind McWhorter.
Well, the impressive thing is, even with them racing each other as hard as they are side by side like that, Barrett Morton really hasn't closed in quite as much as I would have expected. I mean, with them racing, just racing really hard against each other, I would have thought that he would have gotten right up there on the back bumper of that battle. but they were actually able to maintain that. Now that they've single filed out, Barrett is starting to catch up to Mark Whitley just a bit here, but Joseph McWhorter is starting to stretch that advantage now with the clean air.
Yeah, and it looks like now we're looking back at Peyton Howell and the 61 of Duncan Faw back there. It looks like these guys are starting to come back. It looks like Peyton especially is starting to find some speed in that. And I've seen this before with Peyton, 0-5. Like I'd mentioned before, he won last week. And it looks like he's creeping back in, maybe save those tires a little bit better than everyone else. And he might be a factor here in a few laps.
Yeah, he definitely looks like maybe he was hanging back just a little bit after that last restart, trying to keep the tires cooled down, trying to keep his stuff underneath of him. As you can see there, the 29 of Judson Curtis, he is trying to find a way around on the inside of Duncan Faw. As caution is out, that is the 71 of Daniel Parks, I believe, that was just involved in that incident. And you can see there, he's actually going to have to tow. There was massive damage to the right front of that car. Tire was sticking out in a direction that it does not normally go. Take a look here on the V-Speed instant replay to see what happened. That is really peculiar.
Yeah, it looks like he hit the wall and maybe dropped the tire.
Yeah, or maybe that might have been a hardware issue there with a wheel disconnect, because it didn't look like he got into the wall. Yeah, that's definitely a steering wheel. That's some kind of hardware issue. Nothing, just being in the middle of the straightaway like that, nothing that he really could have done there. And I mean, that's unfortunate for a driver that was fighting for one of those last playoff spots. You can see there, wheels just make the hard cut to the left. And at that point, all you can really do is just lock it down, hope that you don't take anybody else with you, and just basically call it a night at that point and reset. So I have had that happen before while I've been leading a race, and I know that it is incredibly frustrating. So I definitely feel for the 71 there.
Yeah, and then to compound that problems, we're watching the leaders come to pit lane, but to compound that problem, was right on the cut line for that getting in the chase, and is probably not going to make it here tonight. So tough break for that driver. But anyway, pretty much all the lead lap cars are headed into pit lane to get service done. We'll see who wins the race off pit lane. Got the two teammates there. Powell separating them there. He's the guy in the middle. See who can win the race off pit lane here. And it looks like McWhorter will win the race off pit lane. His teammate there on the outside will come out second, and Peyton Howell will come out third.
And you can see there's a few drivers that elected to stay out on this caution. So you can see there at the top of our running order, Samuel Yosef, Wyatt Dooling, Noah Hogard, and Armando Melgosa, the top four, they have decided to stay out here. So a little bit of a strategy call, trying to get some track position with this caution.
Yeah, and they've got quite a few laps. It looks like Hogard and Melgosa both have about 28 laps on their tires. Wyatt Dooling and Samuel Yosef got almost 20 laps on their tires. So they're out there on some aged tires right now. We've seen this picture before. It is a bold strategy. Wish them the best of luck here. We'll see how this starts out. Their only hope, for doing something like this perhaps is maybe they'll get another early caution and get that track position.
Yeah, that is a possibility. And Mark Whitley actually did win the race off of pit road there. So he'll be the first one on those fresher tires. And you can see with the lapped cars here, Melgosa actually decided to bring it down pit road. So it'll just be three drivers up at the front that elected to stay out. And that's Yosef, Dooling, and Noah Hogard as your top three. Mark Whitley there, second car in line on the outside, will be the first driver on those four fresh tires.
Yeah, and it looks like Melgosa, the reason he went to pit lane was for some type of black flag. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe speeding on pit lane or something like that. But maybe NASCAR noted a violation there, sent him to pit lane. Not sure exactly what happened, but that's why he came out of that lead group. Anyway, lights are out atop the pace car. Like you said, Samuel Yosef will lead us to the green flag. Wyatt Dooling on his outside. Noah Hogard on the inside. He started it. All these guys started almost in that 30th position there, but he'll start in third. Mark Whitley will start in fourth, McWhorter fifth, and Peyton Howell in that sixth position.
Yeah, this might get a little bit sketchy here on the restart with these fresher tires, trying to navigate getting around those that decided to stay out. Have to see who is able to best handle that challenge. So pace car makes the left-hand turn onto the pit lane. Field in control of Samuel Joseph there on the inside lane. Green flag is back out. Joseph does a really nice job getting rolling here, but you can see Mark Whitley, he's already trying to find a way around up to the third position. He's going to take it up to the high side, but that's 0-5 of Howell. He is looking down on the bottom. They go 3 wide. The 51, gets into Whitley, and Whitley's around. That is going to take out a couple of drivers here. Damage for Mark Whitley. Duncan Fall involved. Noah Hogard got a big piece of that as well. You can see there's a piece of something flying about 600 feet up in the air. I think that's Noah Hogard's hood bouncing down the back straightaway, actually, with the sponsor that I saw in there. But that is going to bring out another caution as we take a look on the instant replay. Dooling put 3 wide in the middle there. And yeah, that just that was all heck breaking loose after that.
Yeah, I think Whitley seen Howell getting a great jump there on the inside, decided to jump to the outside and put Dooling in the middle. And Dooling, probably was a little bit nervous about what to do on those old tires. Couldn't quite hold it in that center lane and just drifted up. And that's a risk you take if you're Whitley. You're taking that risk here as we're riding on with Judson Curtis here. And Justin Curtis looks like he almost missed that, but maybe somebody got in the back of him and then just took a header into the wall.
Man, Judson Curtis hitting the Jeff Gordon spot on the wall down there where he hit in that opening quite a few years ago, back in like 2009, I think it was.
I remember that.
Duncan Fall with big damage on the front of his car as well. That left front tire was not turning or making contact with the track. But yeah, you can see here on the onboard, Duncan Fall was actually loose before it even got to him. And yeah, he gets hard into the inside wall. The one driver that I think was able to avoid any contact that was right in the middle of that was actually the 9 of Barrett Morton. It looked like he made a pretty quick evasive maneuver down to the bottom and was able to avoid all of that damage and carnage here, as he was actually right behind Noah Hogard there. And Joseph McWhorter was directly in front of him as we take a look from the sky cam here. And oh yeah, he did a great job of missing Mark Whitley there because he was broadside just about right in front of him. So nice job by the 9 car there avoiding that. And he's up to the 4th position now.
Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time, and that seems to be the case for Barrett Morton. Good driving out there for him. So looks like next time by we will take the lights out on the pace car here. Most of our leaders all stayed out. A lot of cars headed to pit lane to get some damage fixed or maybe take their quick repair here for tonight. But Peyton Howell now up at the top. He has actually finally captured the lead here. McWhorter will start on his outside, depending on which lane he takes, but McWhorter will start in second. So Howell's finally got that lead. Last week's race winner, Barrett Morton, up to that 3rd position. Of course, Whitley is going to probably have to get his quick repair and try to fight his way back from the field, but he's not even in the top 20 at the moment. That's going to hurt his chances. And something interesting about Whitley, we all know how fast he is, but he hasn't got a single win on the season. Now, he's pretty much locked in by points, but no wins for Mark Whitley yet this season.
Yeah, that really is surprising that he doesn't have any wins on the season, just knowing how fast he is in every other series that he runs here. And he's had plenty of speed in this one as well, just yet to be able to get that win. And if it's going to happen this evening, he definitely has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, well, we've seen him do it before, at least get back up front. He might not get the win, but I'm sure we'll be talking about him again here. But anyway, Peyton Howell will lead us to the green flag for the first time tonight, starting to lead some laps. These tires are all still pretty fresh for these guys. McWhorter on his outside. Barrett Morton having a super strong night. I bet that guy is having a lot of fun out there right now. One of my picks, I'm not going to pick him tonight, but Craig Brauntrager out there in that 4th position on his outside. Always super strong every week. Tyler Rice in the 5th position with George Jewell rounding out your top 6.
Coming down to the restart zone. First time that 0-5 of Peyton Howell has been the control car here this evening. It's going to lead him into that restart zone. And he gets a really nice launch here, like he shot out of a cannon. He's able to clear before they even get to the start-finish line on Joseph McWhorter. Barrett Morton now taking a look to the inside of the 72, back for that second position. See if Barrett is able to clear around here, but it looks like Joseph McWhorter going to be able to carry that momentum down on on that middle lane. That's going to put Bontrager in a position where which lane do you go with? Which one do you think is the right way to go here? For now, he's just going to slot in and ride that white line down there on the bottom of the track. Just trying to find his way up into the podium for the first time this evening.
Yeah, McWhorter was able to hold on to that position there on the outside. Had to drive that car pretty hard. Barrett Morton looking super strong out here tonight. We're still along with Bontrager up here. That allowed Peyton Howell to open up about a 3-second lead, but that's closing down really quick as McWhorter's reeling him back in a hurry, and you can see him down on the outside. And like I said, I have a feeling that this is Howell's driving style. Just save those tires, and he's just going to let them go. And perhaps the other two here, the 9 of Barrett Morton and Bontrager, will get by as well. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and another really good battle for the lead up here, as you can see there. Joseph McWhorter finally able to get fully clear, but a couple of different lines people are running. Again, just why this track is such a fan favorite, such a driver favorite as well. This gives you the ability to try some different things. And, you know, we talked about this driver as well earlier. You see that Tyler Rice machine there that in 5th position, but back here a little bit further, this is the Hornets' nest right now. There's Samuel Joseph. You got Chuck Phelps, Duncan Fall back behind this, trying to find his way back up through the field after taking that fast repair. And these drivers using every inch of the racetrack right now, trying to get their way back up there.
Yeah, they're having a lot of fun right now. Looking at the 61 here. But those guys back there are having a lot of fun racing each other, I'm sure. Like I said, trying to get their last slot into this this championship chase. We'll see how they do here tonight.
Yeah, a little bit further back up here. Sorry not to cut you off there, Ken, but well, I was getting ready to point out another battle, but they decided to go 3 wide here. So keep it on this one for just a moment. And yeah, I mean, again, there you go, using every inch of the racetrack. But sorry, Ken, not to cut you off there.
No, that's fine. That was good timing there. Watching our producer get the cameras while catching that 3 wide action there. That was Samuel Joseph there that was part of that 3-car battle with Justin Ackerman back there. But they've got that battle sorted out. They're all single file now, so everybody settling back into a nice racing groove at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit further back up front, you can see there's another really good battle going on here. You got the 62 machine there with the 04 looking to the inside. That is Kyle Steinbacher and Wesley Burke battling for position. Just ahead of them is Kyle Deering. Just behind him, actually, had a big slide there, able to hang on to it. You see Logan Sturgeon there in the 9th position, just ahead of these drivers. Biggest mover of the race so far, up 23 spots from where he started. Utilizing a little bit of good fortune getting through some of that chaos there to find his way up into that top 10, but really good run so far for the guy that's in charge of the Xfinity Series over here.
Absolutely. As we're looking out the back window here of Logan Sturgeon, he's got Wesley Burke back there all over the rear spoiler of that car. And you can see just goes to the inside now. You can see Logan go to the inside, or Wesley Burke go to the inside of Logan. But that pass isn't going to be made. It's going to drop in back behind.
Yeah, you can see Wesley Burke. He's still not giving up on that middle lane, trying to find some momentum up there, find a way around that 26 of Logan Sturgeon. It's a really nice run on corner exit here, maybe even utilizing just a little bit of draft, trying to pull up right behind that 26 machine. Actually taking a look to the inside here. He might finally have the momentum to pull it off, but not quite able to slide up in front of the 26. Just a little wiggle there out of Wesley Burke on corner exit, but looks like he might finally be able to pull it off here in 3 and 4. Throws a little bit of a slider on him. And I think that was actually just in front of that battle. George Jewell in the 36 maybe making just a little bit of contact with the walls. Either him or Bontrager in the 49 didn't quite catch exactly who it was.
Yeah, it looks like Bontrager's drifted back a little bit, falling in the clutches there of the 99 of Brandon Wallace. Brandon Wallace is going to tuck in behind Bontrager. He's got Wesley Burke just behind him now taking a peek on the inside. That's going to block the 99's momentum there with Bontrager just ahead. That allows that 0-4 Wesley Burke to come on through. Wesley Burke's got a couple wins on the season. Really showed stunk up the McWhorter and Whitley crew this season, and now he is running his way up front here, trying to get by Bontrager. And it looks like he's going to have him clear coming out of 2. Maybe not. That momentum on the outside. Bontrager is going to hold firm on the outside.
Yeah, Bontrager utilizing that middle lane to keep that momentum up like we've seen with a few other drivers here. But seems like over in 3 and 4, that advantage isn't quite as big utilizing that middle lane, as that's the second pass now that we've seen Wesley Burke make going to the bottom in 3 and 4. But the one thing I've noticed too out of that 0-4 is he has been sideways a couple of times on corner exit here. So be curious to see as we get a little bit further into this run if the handling starts to go away, if it just builds too free for him to continue doing that. But so far so good. It's working for him and allowing him to work his way up through this field.
Side by side now, Logan Sturgeon has got a battle there with Bontrager. So it was just on the inside there. Couldn't quite get it done. Bontrager was able to hold firm on the outside as they go into 1. We'll see if he makes another attempt. It looks like he's going to try to swing on the outside, try to capture some of that momentum there that we've seen these drivers on the outside on the exit of 2. And Bontrager closes the door. He'll do the switch over here and try to get him into 3. So Logan Sturgeon taking advantage of that. See if he can push. He pushes that car way deep into that corner and hoping to clear Bontrager, get up to the wall here, and he does. So give that position to him currently. We'll see if he can hang on to it.
Yeah, that was definitely a slide job there out of the 26 of Logan Sturgeon. And just from what we're seeing here, it looks like about the best way to set up passes is utilize that upper middle groove in 1 and 2, get the run down the back straightaway, and then just try to pull the slide job over in turns 3 and 4. Seen it out of a few drivers here so far this evening. And, you know, Logan Sturgeon was passed by the 0-4 doing that, and he says, well, hey, let me go ahead and give it a try. Gets himself up into the 8th position, but Bontrager still right there with him, not going away quietly. Just up ahead of them, Wesley Burke now starting to catch that 36 of George Jewell just a little bit here, starting to put a little bit of pressure on him as well.
Like I said, with Wesley Burke having 2 wins on the season, he is moving his way up now. So George Jewell about to feel some pressure right now in the 36. George Jewell started in the 10th position, currently running in 6th, so having a strong night. We'll see if he can hang on, but it looks like that 4 is closing in really quick. George Jewell in that solid blue paint job. And there you can see the 0-4 Wesley Burke going to the inside. Now the outside lane here in 2 tended to carry the momentum, like you said there. And we'll see if he can do something going into 3. That looks like the best passing opportunity for Wesley Burke. And he'll stuff it in there. He's got the nose clear if he can do another slide job here, and it looks like he will. He'll clear that 36. 36, drop it back to the inside, but gets a little free and had to back out of it.
Yeah, it really just seems like that bottom groove works a lot better over in turns 3 and 4 compared to 1 and 2. As you can see there, Bontrager got into the wall behind this battle, but that's Logan Sturgeon looking on the bottom underneath of George Jewell, trying to take another position, work his way up into 7th. Looks like he may be able to complete that pass here. He is going to be able to get around George Jewell, but Jewell now trying to hang on with Bontrager on the bottom. And Sturgeon, oh, he is sideways off of 4. What a save. That could have been big.
It really could have been, because when he dropped down, Bontrager was right there. I thought those two were going to get together. So Bontrager could have, he's up in the wall again. It's stuck up on the wall. Very carefully pulls it off the wall. So I think he's driving that car really hard. That's Logan Sturgeon that we're watching right now. Just, I think, getting in the marbles, driving that car really hard, and is going to have to back down and maybe rethink his life at this moment and get that car collected back up.
Yeah, definitely going to have to cool the rear tires down after that. That was a huge slide off of turn number 4. But as you can see here, Wesley Burke continues his march to the front. He's been able to get around Tyler Rice for that number 5 position, starting to set his sights on Stephen Davis there in the 4th position. And just taking a look here at the lap times, he's running pretty similar, within about a half a tenth of the leader. But that last lap around, that 05 of Peyton Howell, he was actually the fastest car in our top 5. So battle for the lead probably going to be brewing here pretty soon. You can see their last lap time still about a 1/10.5 faster than Joseph McWhorter. So all eyes on that 0-5 machine to see if he can get up there and put some pressure on our race lead.
Yeah, as we're looking at the right rear quarter panel, looking up front there, Joseph McWhorter riding along here with Peyton Howell. Peyton Howell trying to get a second win on the season as we're approaching the halfway point of this race. You can see him closing in there. He has led a couple laps, did it through the pit cycles, but now it looks like he's going to do it out here on the track as he is hauling in McWhorter just ahead of him. Look to the inside here. I have a feeling that the pass attempt won't happen until turn 3 at least, by the way the momentum works here. And it looks like McWhorter will have the advantage here on the outside, but we'll see what happens as they go into 3.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see here, too. How does Joseph McWhorter change his lineup to maybe try to take that clean air away from the 0-5 of Howell? You can see it there through 3 and 4. He entered just a little bit higher, saw Howell go to the bottom, turned down, put that car right on the white line, and Howell lost a little bit of time through there. But seems like through 1 and 2 is where Joseph McWhorter is struggling a little bit more with the handling of that race car. Not able to get it down on the bottom quite like he can over here, but you can see now Howell is going to go to the top side, gives up just a little bit of time on entry, but this is where it should pay dividends for him here down the front straightaway, and you can see just how much momentum he's able to carry. Pulls back a full 2.5 down that front straightaway, and he is right there on the 72 for the lead.
Yeah, and you can see him working that wheel. He was up there in the marbles on that last turn when he was up so high, but had such a great run. They're going to go into 3 here. We'll see if he does it again. No, he's going to look for the low line this time. And this is where most of the passes have been made tonight, is coming onto the front stretch, but doesn't quite have the momentum there. McWhorter will hang on to it. We'll see if he goes back to the high side when they go into 1 and 2.
Yeah, you know, the one thing I love about this onboard, you mentioned it, you can see him sawing on the wheel. I mean, he is definitely fighting loose on the bottom there. And that's what you love to see as a race car driver. Really lets you get up on the wheel, kind of put it back in the driver's hands, gives you more options of what you can do. This is where we've seen the passes made this evening, as you had mentioned, but not quite close enough, not quite enough momentum. We'll see if there's any contact. They keep it off of each other on corner exit. But Joseph McWhorter able to lead this lap. But Howell is there, and he is searching for that lead to try to take control of this race. Still down on the bottom, not quite able to get the power down the way he needs to. And it looks like McWhorter still struggling with that handling as well. But just neither one of these drivers able to fully clear right now.
This is some great racing. This is why I love Goat Locker Racing. These guys have been side by side for 2 laps now. Neither one of them wanting to give up this lead. Howell drove back, saved his tires a little bit. McWhorter really running that outside, keeping the momentum up. Howell's got a little bit of clearance there. Will slide up in front, but that's going to allow McWhorter to come down on the inside. But McWhorter, I think, got a little loose, and it slowed up his momentum. So McWhorter's going to tuck in behind for now. We'll see if he can challenge back here. But, yeah, was able to get that position made. Very close quarter racing.
Yeah, I think Howell saw his opportunity and said, I've got to clear him now so I can get control, not burn my tires up here. But when he crossed the nose of the 72, you called it, just how much grip and how much momentum that Joseph McWhorter lost. But that sets the tone for how they can race each other here at this point forward. If Joseph McWhorter gets the opportunity to pull that same move, already seen that it's fair game, so you know he's going to give it right back if he gets the chance.
Yeah, well, we've been doing great here. We've got a lot of green flag racing now at this point. So, you know, I wonder if we might actually start to see green flag stops here in another maybe 20 laps. We've got 40 laps to go, and I think pit stops will be due here. Like I said, you can go 50 to 55 laps. So the possibilities here for green flag stops, and that might change the complexion of this. But right now, Howell's got... looks like saved his tires a little bit more and starting to check out on McWhorter just a little bit as we're looking at another battle.
Yeah, that's really going to be the thing. I mean, we're in the window that you can pit at any time and make it to the end of the race. You know, from where that caution came out, they may try to just split it in half, pit within the next 5 to 10 laps or so, try to split it up about 2 30-lap runs to the end. But the downside is if you come down pit road and try to do that undercut and a caution comes out, that just turns your whole race upside down. As you can see there, the 50 of Kyle Deering into the wall, just trying to hang on. You can see how much these drivers are fighting for grip. And I don't know. Usually whatever pit call I decide to make is usually the wrong one. But I think I would stay out and run it long. Just with the way these drivers are fighting for grip, I just think there's too much of a likelihood that somebody spins or somebody brings out a caution, just with these cars being so loose, that I think that's going to end up being the right play.
Yeah, riding along with Kyle Deering here. You've seen him saw in the wheel here as Samuel Joseph was able to get that position away from him, drove underneath. Samuel Joseph just ahead of him, but Kyle Deering up in the marbles almost, and he had a lot of wheel in that car. So these guys are fighting handling issues right now. He's going to the bottom this time, trying to look for that clean air. Samuel Joseph will come down and take some of that air away, but anywhere these guys are trying to find grip right now here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, definitely searching for all the grip they can. And just a quick shout out to the two drivers directly ahead of Kyle Deering here. You've got Samuel Joseph up 14 spots from where he started. Duncan Faw in the 61. Box score only says that he's up 2 spots from where he started, but what a charge back up through the field for the driver of the 61 after getting caught up in that one big caution that we had. So really nice job there for him to be able to work his way back up through. And of course, as soon as I say that, he starts to get loose and almost puts it in the wall. So little commentator curse, but he hangs on to it. Talking about green flag pit stops, you can see right there, Barrett Morton, the first of our front runners that's going to kick off this round. He brings that car down with 35 laps to go here. So we'll see if that opens the floodgates for some of these other leaders to start thinking about hitting the pit lane.
Yeah, and Barrett's got to be thinking right now, please, no caution, as he's dropped all the way back to 27th by heading to pit lane. Got 4 tires and the service done on that car. He's good to go for the rest of the race. First car in. Now, can he make up time on the track? The longer our leaders stay up, that's going to allow Barrett Morton to run these guys down and gain some time. But it's going to be hard to say how long these guys are going to stay up.
Yeah, for sure. And he is 1 lap down to the race leader. So that's the danger zone. If you're Barrett Morton right now, your first goal is trying to get yourself back on the lead lap, especially if you get that leader where they are within range. So it's down pit lane here.
One of the techniques I like to use, Daniel, when I go into pit lane is moving that brake bias all the way up as far as I can get it so I can really stomp on the brakes. And it looks like maybe that's what Jamie did. She was hard on those brakes. We got another car sideways there. I was watching this battle up here. So these cars are really struggling right now. It looks like Hal was getting by the lap car there and had that car totally sideways here as we're watching him still continue to lead this thing. I want to say that was Devontae Drain having a little bit of an issue getting around that lap car, and that 05 was sideways.
Yeah, that was definitely a moment there. And, you know, we've been talking about the benefits of when do you come down pit lane during this green flag cycle. The leader this last time by, let's just check what his lap time is. He ran a 32:19. Taking a look at Barrett Morton, the first driver that hit the pit lane, ran a 31 flat the last time around. So, ran a 31:29 rather the last time around. So Barrett Morton running almost a full second per lap faster with those fresher tires. So, I mean, if it cycles out and it goes green and everybody completes those stops, you're going to have a pretty big advantage on the track. It's just you got to hold your breath in the meantime and hope that it does, in fact, go green. Otherwise, all of that hard work, all of the strategy planning, is go ahead and toss it right out the window.
Yeah, and when our leaders do come down on pit lane, they will have a little bit of advantage because if guys like Barrett Morton or whatever do pass them on the track based on tire wear and whatnot, they'll be able to run them down, hopefully. But it's going to be hard to say. I'm looking at Peyton Howell right now with Joseph McWhorter behind him. They've opened up a 6-second lead on third place of Wesley Burke. So, you know, if I'm sitting there leading this thing and I've got basically McWhorter following me in a 6-second lead, I'm going to hold out until maybe the top 3 start pitting and then start counting laps on when I need to come in.
Yeah, and even if I'm the 0-5 of Peyton Howell here, it seems like he has a long-run pace advantage over Joseph McWhorter. So my mindset, if I'm him, is I don't really care if McWhorter undercuts me by a lap or 2, because if he pulls out to a lead, I'm going to be able to chase him back down. I'm already faster on the longer run. I'm going to have a tire advantage of at least a lap or two. So I feel like if you're the 0-5, you just kind of react, let the 72 of McWhorter undercut you by a lap, knowing that you're going to more than make that up on the back end of the run.
Watching Peyton Howell go by Claire Sisk and Kevin Price there. A couple of drivers going a lap down. We still have quite a few cars on the lap down, but now that we're under green flag and pit stops, only 17 cars on the lead lap currently. So starting to put this race away right now with 27 laps to go. And Howell up there where he wants to be so far, just keeping an eye on the competition behind him, seeing when everybody's going to pit. And I don't know if I'd be hoping for a caution. I always hope for green flag runs. If I'm Peyton Howell, you can tell he likes those green flag runs, the way he manages tires. So, I'm sure he's hoping that it stays green. Guys like McWhorter who've kind of wore out their tires probably are hoping for a caution because it's probably what he's going to need to get a chance to win this thing. Same thing with Wesley Burke running back there in third. So Peyton Howell definitely in control of this thing at the moment.
Yeah, Peyton Howell just showing really nice long run pace. Been running about half a tenth to a tenth a lap faster than the second place driver of Joseph McWhorter. And, you mentioned it going through these green flag pit stops. Currently only 13 cars on the lead lap. So Barrett Morton in 14th would be the free pass recipient if there is a caution at this point. But yeah, if you're one of these guys, here's the other thing too. If you're one of these guys that you're going to have to win this race to lock into the playoffs, go ahead and throw the Hail Mary. Stay out, run the car empty, hope you catch that caution that you need. You can see here the race leader, he says, that's it, I've had enough. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down pit road. And that is Hal in the 0-5. He's going to bring it down for his last scheduled stop of the race.
Yeah, and this is going to force the hand of guys like McWhorter and Wesley Burke. They're going to have to head to pit lane because that 5 is going to get out there and start being able to track down fast laps and open up that gap even further. So the longer McWhorter stays out on those old tires, the only thing I can think of the reason he'd stay out there is hoping for a caution, maybe trapping the leader a lap down. But he stayed out for another lap, so we'll see when McWhorter comes onto pit lane. There is some cars starting to bunch up, so might be banking on a caution. We'll see what happens here.
Well, and really, if you're Joseph McWhorter, you're just out here trying to get some bonus points for a win at this point. I mean, he came into the race second in points overall. There is a bonus for being the overall points leader at the end of the regular season, but that was previously held by Jonathan Cofield, who's not racing tonight. So I'd have to think that that's going to put McWhorter as your points leader going into the playoffs. So at this point, yeah, I mean, if you're going to run second following what the 0-5 does, you might as well try something a little bit different. And if you can trap the majority of the field a lap down, then good on you. I mean, it's going to make you look like a genius, but, of course, right as soon as I say that, here he brings it down pit road. Little connection issue heading in, but he's going to go ahead and make that stop now.
Yeah, what I was going to say while we're watching all that, there was a couple lap cars just ahead of Joseph McWhorter that we were watching, and they were pulling away because they were on fresher tires. And one of those cars was the 9 car of Barrett Morton, currently running in 10th, moving up that position. So Barrett Morton back on the lead lap, where he's probably happy now seeing that he's a lead lap car now, so he's not in danger of going a lap down if caution does fly. But he's also got a car on fresher tires. It's a 28 car. I believe that 28 car is a lap down. I want to say that's Justin Ackerman goes by Barrett Morton there on those fresher tires.
Yeah, that is not a battle for position at the moment. But the one thing I'm looking at here, Barrett Morton currently has about a 5-second lead over Peyton Howell, but he's got 12 lap older tires. So this is going to end up shaping up to be a battle for the race lead once all of this cycles out and once the rest of these drivers come down pit lane for their final pit stops. But right now, just taking a look at the lap times, this is the first full lap out of the pits for the 0-5 of Howell. And actually, I think he might have had a blink or something there because, okay, now it actually updated. It was showing he ran a 26-second lap. And if he did that at Las Vegas, that is turning on the afterburners. But he's running almost a full second per lap faster right now than Barrett Morton is. So Barrett, he's probably hoping for once this cycles out, maybe get a caution, reset everything, get on even tires, because I don't think he's going to be able to hold the lead just with that tire difference.
No, it was a good strategy that he employed, but he does need a little bit more time. We got 20 laps to go, so definitely Howell is in this picture, closing in big time on Barrett Morton. And you got to wonder if Barrett Morton's been saving at least a little bit of tire while he was out there on those older tires, so he can try to pick it up a little bit, knowing that that leader was going to make his stop and start gaining back on these guys. We're looking at Peyton Howell right now, trying to get back up there. Currently running in the 8th position. He's going to go by the lap car there, or try to get by the. He does get by Cody Turner. So Peyton Howell moving up the track here, trying to reclaim the lead. A lot of our top 6 drivers, well, top 5 drivers have not pitted yet.
Yeah, top 5 have yet to make their final stop. You can see Brandon Wallace employing the strategy that we have seen him use so many times here at Goat Locker. He's probably going to end up being the last one to come down pit lane. He's at least one of the last 5 to come down pit lane here. He's actually 55 laps in on this stint. So would have to think that both he and Logan Sturgeon would be hitting the pit lane at any time here. The other 3 drivers, Mark Whitley, Charles Abert, and Stefan Purcell, that have not yet pitted, they actually pitted 4 laps later on that last caution. So they can go a couple laps further here into the end of the race, but not going to be able to make it to the end. They'll have to come down to the attention of their pit crew before we see the end of this race.
Well, what we're watching right now, we're watching Barrett Morton, and this probably is going to, when the pit cycles cycle out, this is the battle for the lead right now, or will be the battle for the lead. You got the number 9, that red and black machine, Barrett Morton. Howell closing in quick on those fresher tires, 12 laps fresher tires, and will make this pass probably pretty easily going into 3.
Yeah, Howell has just got so much more grip and so much more speed with that 12-lap tire advantage. He's going to be able to easily clear around the 9 of Barrett Morton. So that'll effectively put him back in the race lead, like you mentioned. But, these drivers that are up there in the top 5 still not coming down pit lane. And, we said 50 to 55 laps on fuel. Brandon Wallace, Logan Sturgeon already at 57 laps. Make that 58 laps now. And not showing any signs of pitting. So, I know that I said there ain't no way that they're going to be able to make it. But, Ken, do you think one of these guys might throw a Hail Mary and try to stay out?
No, I think what we're looking at right now, these guys are on older tires, so he's probably saving a little bit of fuel because they can't go as fast. But I imagine that they are within a lap or 2 of coming in. I can't imagine them going much further. Going to stay out as long as possible. We're looking at Brandon Wallace currently leading this thing. That's a lap car, 50 car of Kyle Deering going by on fresher tires. But Brandon Wallace staying out till the last possible moment, trying, because he's going to go a long ways back if he heads to pit lane.
We've got one sideways on the front straightaway. I don't know if he's going to save it. That was the 28. It looks like he actually keeps it under control, keeps it rolling. But, man, that was almost the caution that Brandon Wallace was hoping for right there to get this track position.
Brandon Wallace now on the pit lane, so he did make that stop after that incident.
Oh, yeah, that was just the difference of tires right there. That was Tyler Rice on the bottom on fresher tires trying to find a way around, gets into the 28 of Ackerman, and man, what a great job hanging onto that car for Justin Ackerman. That could have easily turned this upside down. But we stay green as we approach 10 laps to go. And you can see there Hal now back in P1 with some of those pit stops completing here. And he is now your race leader yet again.
Interesting. Whitley back there too, running in second. If you remember about, lap 20 or so, Whitley had that big incident there, trying to battle back on the lead, battling some guys on older tires. Currently running in that second spot behind Peyton Howell, but he has given up time, so he's on, it looks like, a bit older tires.
Yeah, he has not yet come down pit lane to make his last stop. Both he and Charles Abert are the last 2 that have not come down for that last stop. So I don't know if maybe Whitley might try to save and make it to the end. I think that would be, well, he's getting ready to answer that question. Here he comes down to the pit crew for the last stop of the race. And again, you can see just how sketchy that pit entrance is, trying to get that car down to 50 miles an hour. But here comes Whitley for the last stop of the race. And that's going to leave Charles Abert as the last man standing of those that have not made their final pit stop.
How about Charles Abert out there in that 7 machine having a solid night? Currently running in third, but he is getting freight trained at the moment. Oh, we got an incident right behind him. Yeah, I want to say that was Samuel Joseph Brock Price. I think it was.
That was 18 of Colton Sisk that was sideways. And again, what a save. That could have easily been a caution right there as well, but Sisk able to hang on to it. Oh, you can see that's Calvert in the wall in the 90 right in front of them as well. Let's take a quick look back at this. This could have gotten big easily here. And it looked like Abert was getting ready to come down pit road. Colton Sisk checking up for that and gets run into there. But, man, what a great job by Colton Sisk to hang on to that one.
Yeah, all the speed difference there. That's what you see when people are on new and old tires. You see that speed difference. And I bet you Charles Abert came over the radio and said pitting, and that caught Sisk off guard, so he slowed up because he had nowhere to go, and then that allowed that car to get in the back of him. So, but good job hanging on to it. We're watching our leader right now, Peyton Howell, up there back in command of this thing. He's got McWhorter about 2.8 seconds behind him, but we know how strong Howell is on the long run. As long as this thing stays green, looking pretty solid for another win here tonight.
Yeah, definitely on the, like in the right spot right now, but you can see there at the times the last time by, McWhorter was about 1.5 tenths faster. He's going to need to pick up more than that to be able to get there, as that gap currently just under 3 seconds between the two drivers. Of course, McWhorter does have 3-lap fresher tires, but still not, as they currently are running, not going to be quite enough to get there. Check the speeds this time by, actually stabilizes a little bit more, just under 1/10 faster that lap for Joseph McWhorter. So without a caution, I don't believe the 72 will be able to get back up there.
Yeah, and if I was the 72, the best thing he could do is just sit back, save the tires, and hope for a caution, and maybe grab a win from Howell on a little bit fresher tires, because I don't think he's going to catch him, not with 6 laps to go currently. That's what we're looking at. He's going to need 10, 20 laps to run down Howell at this point. So I think that would be his best strategy to employ at this point. Just hang back, save those tires in case there's a late race caution, and maybe he can challenge on a green-white checker.
Yeah, that would definitely be the play at this point. But right now, as they run, coming to 5 to go here, Howell with a 2.5 second lead. Barrett Morton doing a nice job hanging on in third with that tire disadvantage. Although Craig Bontrager has been chasing him down, but about 2 to 3 tenths a lap. Again, that would not quite be enough to put Bontrager up there in contention for the last podium spot, at least as they currently run.
Yeah, looking at Barrett Morton, what a solid night here. He's got a lap car there on the outside, maybe a little bit fresher tire there, but Barrett Morton having a solid night, running in third. Like you said, Bontrager maybe running him down a little bit, but I don't think Bontrager has enough time. Barrett Morton out there on those older tires, used a early pit stop strategy, but he is, I see Whitley there, he's on fresh tires. He's a lap down trying to get his lap back. You see Whitley going by on the inside. Whitley had that early race incident on a restart, if you guys remember, and he is challenging back, but definitely not enough time for Whitley. I don't even think Whitley can make it back to the lead lap at this point.
Yeah, it would definitely take a huge effort just to get back on the lead lap. As you can see, right there behind, I don't know if that'll bring out a caution or not. 57 hard into the inside wall, slides up on the track. Caution is indeed out. And just when the 05 of Peyton Howell looked like he was cruising to another win, that is going to change everything here. Contact between those two drivers, the 57 and the 26, as we go back and check this on the V-Speed instant replay. These two drivers were a lap down at the time of when this happened. Logan Sturgeon, considerable bit faster here, goes up on the high side, and just the 57 moves up, just not room there. And for the second time tonight, the 57 hits the Jeff Gordon opening in the wall. And, I didn't even see who that was that actually hit him after the fact either. But there was another driver that got a piece of that at the end. But it's decision time now. We're going to set up for a green-white checker. What do you do here? Do you take 4 or 2?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good... I really don't know. You can see Howell coming down on the pit lane. He's got about a 2-second gap was able to get down a pit lane, so Howell might take the 4 tires. If you're Whitley, I think, or McWhorter, I should say, if you're McWhorter, you might want to take 2. I don't know. That's a tough call.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough. I think if you're Howell, you've got to take 4 here. I don't think that there's any other choice. But if you're somebody that's got to throw a Hail Mary, oh, you can see there the 0-4 Wesley Burke black
I called
flag for speeding. And Joseph McWhorter did take 2 tires. He's going to be the first one out of the pits. So there's a little bit of a gamble, and a couple drivers did stay out. Kyle Steinbacher and Brandon Wallace are going to be on old tires on the front row. Brandon Wallace, only 11 laps on his tires, was one of the last ones to come down the pit lane. Kyle Steinbacher has 23 laps on his tires. So there you go. A couple of Hail Mary calls along with the 2 tires for Joseph McWhorter. So, yeah, that definitely shakes things up.
We are set up for a green-white checker shootout. That is for sure. Kind of thought, when they came on the pit lane with that gap that Howell had, that would have been the smart choice of taking those 4 tires. And, the only thing that they've got to wonder now is, matter of fact, who is Peyton Howell lining up behind? Is he?
And actually, I'm sorry, Ken, not to cut you off. I believe the 72 of McWhorter got a black flag as well.
Oh, no. I'm looking at that right now. I don't see it on my end, but yeah, something going on here.
I'm not sure what happened there, but you can see he is bringing that car back down pit lane. So not quite sure what happened there. And also just a quick bit of housekeeping. The 0-4 got a black flag for passing under yellow. That was an error due to the situation with the yellow where it came out and other cars on track. So they did, in fact, clear that black flag for Wesley Burke, but another shakeup on the running order here. Yeah, I did not see what exactly happened with McWhorter, but he came back down pit road again and made another pit stop.
Yeah, looking at McWhorter hit his pit box. Oh, we're looking at the first stop right now under the instant replay here, trying to figure out what happened here.
Yeah, it never popped up as a black flag on our timing and scoring, which it typically will, but that's the only thing that I can think is that it was for speeding.
Interesting. So, well, he's locked in. He's locked in for the championship, so he had nothing to lose. So I guess it's always possible he came down for the left side tires. Who knows? But definitely a big setback for McWhorter, who'd been strong all night. Thought he might be the one that's going to be challenging for the win. But right now, the lights are going to go out atop the pace car. We got Kyle Steinbacher leading this thing right now on those older tires. Peyton Howell going to start on his outside. And then back there in third, Peyton Howell will start back there in third on the inside. And Brandon Wallace out there on the outside. So right now, Peyton's got a mind. He's got 4 fresh tires. He knows these guys up front are on older tires. I think Peyton Howell, as long as he can keep a cool head and get around these guys, might be able to lock it out. But let's not count out Barrett Morton, who's behind him. Barrett Morton came down pit lane. How many tires did he take, Daniel? Do you know? Actually,
everybody from what I'm seeing took 4 that came down on that pit stop on that last one. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting restart. Those older tires, of course, Brandon Wallace on only 11 green flag laps on his, considerably more than that for Steinbacher in the 62. I think it's all going to come down to that second row and who can navigate around the quickest out of the 0-5 and the 9. We saw how this worked out on that earlier restart with the older tires on the front row. We might be in for a little bit more calamity here.
Yeah, if I was Peyton Howell, I'm sitting behind that first place car out there on the older tires of the 2 top runners there. 99 on the outside of Brandon Wallace. I'd rather be behind him, but we'll see how this shakes out. We're about to go green flag racing maybe for the last time here. Green flag is out. The 2 up front, Kyle Steinbacher and Brandon Wallace now battling inside.
Move to the bottom.
Yeah, and Howell down on the inside now, and that's when the 2 leaders are up almost door to door, and we're under caution.
Yellow flag is back out yet again. Did not see who that was for, actually. Oh, you can see there, Joseph McWhorter, one of the drivers involved. So that is going to bring the caution out for our second attempt at a green-white checker. Let's going back and take a look here on the V-Speed instant replay. There's a lot of drivers that took waiver rounds, free passes, so a longer line than normal of what you would see on a restart. McWhorter goes to the inside, but there was contact up above him and just nothing he could do. I mean, wrong place, wrong time. And the 78 just gets turned down into him, and that
Armando Melgoza back there. Armando Melgoza came down, and McWhorter probably didn't even see it coming. He's down there on the apron trying to make moves, and car comes down and gets into him. So his night got a whole lot worse. As we're going to maybe do this for one last time. I think there was only 2 green-white checkers, so this will be at least the last one. And Howell now is up there leading this thing, so he's where he wants to be. Brandon Wallace back there in second, and Craig Bontrager. Look at that. He's up there in that 3rd position. So Brandon Wallace starting on the outside. That's going to leave Bontrager and Howell some clear track maybe for this restart, this last green-white checker.
Yeah, this will indeed be the last attempt at a green-white checker. So once they take the green flag, if the caution comes out again before we get the white flag, that's it. Race is going to be over as they run at that point. But if we get back around to the white flag, that's it. iRacing isn't going to throw any cautions at that point. We are racing it out to the end. So see how this plays out here. That 05 of Howell, you mentioned it. He's going to be back in control of this race with the fresh tires. He's got a little bit of a buffer between himself and the next driver on 4 tires, being the 49 of Bontrager in 4th and then Barrett Morton in 5th. So would have to think as long as the 05 of Howell can get a pretty clean restart here, I hate to say it's going to be smooth sailing for him, but if he could get a clean restart, it's going to bode well for him.
Yeah, I think he's in the right position. Those 2 cars behind him, my timing and scoring was a little off there. I thought Bontrager was in 3rd and was going to be able to restart, but I was completely wrong. And so that's going to put Bontrager on the outside of these 2. So Bontrager sitting at a little bit of a disadvantage, but I think Howell is exactly where he wants to be. And if these guys get together up front and Howell's able to clear it, that caution comes out, this race is over. So, and it might be what Steinbacher and Brandon Wallace are kind of hoping for too. Maybe an incident behind them and lock them into a podium finish tonight.
Yeah, good possibility. And I like what the 05 of Howell is doing here with taking the bottom on this restart. So that's going to guarantee that there is at least 1 car in between himself and anybody else on fresher tires. If he would have taken the top, would have put Bontrager on fresh tires directly behind him. So I don't know if this is what his mindset is, but my mindset would be, hey, I might be able to make a little bit of a barricade here with these older tires between myself and everybody else to give myself the best shot possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Howell will take him to the green flag for the last time tonight. Brandon Wallace on his outside on those older tires. Kyle Steinbacher back there in 3rd. Craig Bontrager in 4th on the outside. Barrett Morton back there up in the 5th where he started tonight. Duncan Faw in 6th. Stephen Davis in the 7th position will be restarting. And Jamie Lipke up from the 13th spot will restart in 8th. We'll see how these guys get it done here tonight for the last time.
Yeah, so you can see their lights are out on the pace car. This is going to be it. 2-lap shootout for the win. 2-lap shootout to see if anybody can race their way in, lock in with a win here from outside of that playoff cut line. And I have a feeling that it's about to get a little bit exciting here on this restart. Pace car is off field in control of Peyton Howell here as they approach that restart zone. And he is shot out of a cannon. Huge jump for the 05 as the green flag is back in the air.
Yeah, that's that fresh tires for you right now. You got Brandon Wallace out there running in 2nd, able to clear those cars behind him. 49, Bontrager on the outside, trying to clear the 62 of Kyle Steinbacher, taking the 61 along with them, Duncan Faw. And it looks like both those guys are trying to lead up there on the outside and pass this guy on the older tires. And it looks like they do, but don't look now. You got the 9 car, Barrett Morton, on the inside.
Yeah, will Brandon Wallace be able to hold on to 2nd with that tire disadvantage? He's got Bontrager looking to the inside. White flag is in the air. Race is official. We're going to end this thing under green. Howell has absolutely checked out, almost a 1-second lead, but they're almost 3 wide for 2nd behind him.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were going to go 3 wide. Bontrager now on the inside trying to get this position away from the older tires of the 99. Can he do it? You can see he's putting it down in there. Bontrager's his last chance. The leader's coming around to the start-finish line. Looks like Peyton Howell will win again, but we got a battle for second. Bontrager gets the second place.
Yeah, Bontrager does indeed get the number 2 position. It looked like by the slimmest of margins, Brandon Wallace able to come home in third with Duncan Faw in fourth. Less than a tenth of a second separated second, third, and fourth at the line, 3 wide. But the night belongs to Peyton Howell. Started second, led 37 laps, as you can see there, and he is your race winner here at Vegas.
Yeah, 2 in a row for Peyton Howell. He's got to be pretty happy with that performance tonight. Kind of fell his way, raced very smart tonight. Had a tough battle with McWhorter early in this race. Those two went door to door, but he comes out the ultimate victor. McWhorter with the struggles at the end of this race. Finishes way back in the pack, but he's down there celebrating. And while he's celebrating, let's take it to a commercial break, and we'll come back with your unofficial results, and we'll talk to our top 3.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. Invets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. Invets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about Invets, visit us at invets.org today.
At Las Vegas Motor Speedway with a heck of a race, and your race winner Peyton Howell started in second, will finish this race on top. What a heck of a run by that driver here tonight. Craig Bontrager, another solid run, will finish in second. Brandon Wallace wraps out your top 3. Duncan Faw will finish 4th. Barrett Morton finishes in P5. Kyle Steinbecker will finish in P6. Kyle Deering P7. Stephen Davis P8. Joseph McWhorter, P9, and Jamie Lipke wraps out your top 10.
And finishing in the 11th position this evening is going to be Wesley Burke, with Dave Calvert finishing in 12th. George Jewell comes home in 13th. Tyler Rice in 14th. Mark Whitley comes home in the 15th position. 16th is going to be Stephen Purcell. Justin Ackerman in 17th. Wyatt Dooling comes home in 18th this evening, with Brock Price in 19th, and rounding out your top 20 is going to be Charles Avery.
Frederick Seagraves Jr. will finish in P21. Gary Wright will finish P22. Samuel Yosef in that 23rd position. Devontae Drain will finish 24th. Kevin Price in P25. Claire Sisk will finish 26th. Colton Sisk will finish 27th, with Armando Melgoso will finish in that 28th position. Cody Turner 29th. Judson Curtis in the 30th position. Logan Sturgeon will finish in P31. Chuck Phelps will finish P32. Kevin Calkins 33rd. Noah Hogard will finish 34th. Daniel Parks 35th. And Darren Price wraps out your 36 car field here tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, Darren, that was quite an exciting race, Daniel. I'm sorry. Why don't you talk to our race winner and see how he got it done tonight?
Peyton Howell, this is Daniel or Darren, depending on who you ask up here in the V-Speed booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, what a run tonight. It looked like, the short run speed may have been with the 72 of McWhorter, but you had that long run speed. Just talk a little bit about how you were able to do that and save that tire, and then just what your mindset was on that last restart with the green-white checker.
Well, I ran this combo a couple weeks ago when all the official stuff was here, and I learned that shallow entry both ends and wrapping the apron would help save the right front because the setup got really tight if you drove it too hard. So I just did that the whole race, just trying to wrap and just save the right front. I was exiting literally on the apron. And was just I saw him go, him and Mark went at it early, and I was like, okay, well, they're not going to save as much as I thought they might, so I'm going to sit here and just save a little bit harder, and then the caution come out. So we had that second run, and Mark got in that restart wreck, so it was me versus Joseph, and he kind of went early. He was like, he lights out on the short run, and so I was like, yeah, I'm going to go even slower here. And he started backing down to me. So I kept backing down even more. And we were just playing a game of chicken the whole second run. And I was like, okay, well, I got to go at some point because we're running out of laps to pit. So we put it on the boards in 3 and 4 and tried to be consistent and was trying to figure out lines and this and that worked. And I hate that caution come out with like coming to 3 to go. I felt like Denny Hamlin right there when the caution come out. But and then that final restart, I was just like, I got to go as early as I can in the box with these guys on old tires behind me, and it ended up working out.
Well, really impressive run tonight. Congrats on the win. Congrats on going back-to-back with wins here in the Sunday night Invets Xfinity Series. Before we let you go, who you want to thank or shout out for it?
Wyatt for letting me race for him the rest of the season. Unrivaled Innovations, Icon Apparel Company, Florida Estate Builders, Celsius, Nerditudes, HelloFresh, Race Stop Suicide, Dark Fusion Systems, everybody at the Unrivaled team, the 4 Wide team, and y'all for putting on the broadcast. These guys for putting on the league. This is a very fun league. So, yeah, I'm glad that Wyatt let me race, and we'll be back next week.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win. We'll see if you can go 3 for 3 next week at Richmond.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that's our race winner, Peyton Howell. And Ken, I believe you are standing by with our second place finisher, Craig Bontrager.
Hey, Craig, how's it going? You got a copy?
Sure do. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. Hey, great job on the second place. I feel like I helped you get this second place because I did not pick you to win this race tonight, and you had a solid night. The past couple of races, you've had some bad luck, but tonight, solid run, excellent pit strategy there at the end on those old tires. Tell us how you were able to hold off and hang on to that podium.
Yeah, just I feel like the track you had to adapt to a couple of times, different times a night, and we got that long green flag run, and just kind of arbitrarily picked a lap to pit on. I didn't think I had great speed, so I wanted to get in early, try to get some advantage on tires there for a little while. Kind of hope a caution played in my favor and give me some luck. Didn't really play out for that necessarily, but because the faster guys came out with fresh tires and just started working around me no problem, and my tire advantage was gone. But we ended up getting that caution. A little bit of luck with some speeding penalties on pit road put us in a great position, and finally able to come up and talk to you guys. I've been trying to do this all season.
Well, we're definitely glad to have you up here in the booth tonight with us. Hey, who do you have to thank for getting you up on this podium here tonight?
Yeah, I got torque wheels on the car this year. Check them out, torquewheels.com. But want to definitely thank Invets, the series sponsor. I'm so glad that we get to run Xfinity cars for them. Las Vegas and that car together is hope to put on a really good show. The sponsor definitely deserves it. Jam Printing and Promotions, love the swag, wear it all the time. V Speed, you guys, finally good to be up here and talking to you. And then Alexander PCs for upgrading your machine when you're ready.
Well, you're locked into the chase, so we'll look forward to seeing you race at Richmond next week.
Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you
Thanks.
later. Well, Daniel, that was our second place. Who do we have up for third? I think we'll talk to Brandon Wallace here.
Yes.
This is an interview that I never thought that I would be able to do. Brandon Wallace, it's your favorite broadcaster up in the V-Speed booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. Do you have adult supervision up there?
Unless you count Eddie as an adult, no. We are completely unsupervised up here. So, hey, congrats on the podium. You pulled the Hail Mary call there at the end, unofficially just looking at the points. And of course, the admins will have to go in and verify everything. But it looks like you may have come up just 2 points short of making the playoffs here for this series. But you gave it everything you had out there. When that last caution came out, was your mindset really, I just got to kind of take a chance here, roll the dice, so to speak, and see if I can get what I need to work my way into the playoffs?
Yeah, that was kind of the idea. I mean, I knew I was a long shot and I needed to win or get real up there. So that's why I stayed out long to lead some laps and try to get some points there. And then the caution fell just right. And seeing that I only had 9 or 10 laps on the tires, I'm like, well, I'm going to do the dumb thing and stay out because it's 2 green, white checkers. They're going to wreck. I'm going to finish, better than I would have, coming in at 12th and getting 4.
Well, it certainly worked out in your favor as far as the finishing position, and I definitely can't fault you for trying. You gave it everything you had with the strategy calls, but congrats on the P3 here this evening. Before we let you go, who you want to thank or shout out for it?
Well, you and Ken and Eddie in the booth, obviously, everybody at GLR, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, it's Invets. This is just it's fun to run these cars. This was a kind of a handful setup. It was a lot of fun to drive, and actually went greener than I thought. So just glad for all the other drivers. I had a good time, and it's Jello time, man.
Well, go enjoy that green Jello. Congrats again on the P3. We'll see you at Richmond.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, that was our last podium finisher, and that'll do it for us tonight. Next week, we're at Richmond. We're going to start the chase. Daniel, I really appreciate you being here in the booth with me. Been a lot of fun, and of course, tonight's race was brought to you by Invets, of course. I'm Ken Huber, Daniel Cunningham alongside with me, Eddie Smith, the producer, and we got Dougie Beard provided the cameras for tonight's race. I want to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day coming up this Tuesday, and let's not forget about our veterans and first responders, and that's why we're here at Go Lock.